Guys, this is my P30SK, and after a recent video that I did comparing the differences between hammer-fired, striker-fired, and fully cocked striker-fired, I got a lot of people in the comments saying, hit this on the hammer and it will somehow fire even when it's decocked. Well, we're going to jump into that in this short, and I'm going to show you why it's actually not possible even if you smack the hammer for this gun to fire. And before we get started, note that this gun is completely unloaded, clear, safe, and pointed in a safe direction. Now, the first thing that I do want to note here is the position of the hammer, either when you decock it or if you have fired and let the hammer forward manually. So to do this, I'm going to simply decock the hammer by hand, keeping the trigger pin to the rear. And if you look closely here, hopefully you guys can see this, you can see I can push that hammer all the way forward until it's bumping the top of the slide. At this point, that hammer is actually contacting the firing pin, right? It's all the way in the forward position. But take note here, if I decock the pistol, that hammer is nowhere close to being forward to touching that firing pin. And that is a safety interlock notch, the point of which you can hit this on the hammer as much as you want, and it is no longer connected to the firing mechanism, and it's impossible for it to fire that way. This safety position is also what the hammer is dropped to when you press the decocker. It simply falls to the safety notch and goes no further. But even if that did fail, there is still another level of safety. Let's take a look. If we take a look at the underside of the slide, you'll notice this little divot here, which is actually going to be your firing pin block. Now you can see I'm just going to use the snap cap here and push on the firing pin. You'll note we have no protrusion out of the front of the slide. Now you can see here I'm pushing down on the firing pin block with this hand. If I push all the way on it, so I'm pushing it all the way through, I got nothing. I have to have it in exactly the right depth position, and this takes some finesse, there we go, in order to have the firing pin actually move forward. So again, if there's no firing pin block depressed, nothing. If there's all the way depressed, nothing. It has to be just so in order to let that firing pin protrude forward and actually fire. So there you have it. By dropping the hammer or by impacting the hammer on an HK P30SK or any of the P30 series or even any of the USP series, you are not at risk of detonating the round in the chamber for not one, but two main reasons, and if you consider the out of battery safety, even a third. That makes the P30SK an extremely safe pistol to carry.